Good morning and welcome to the 2026 Graduate Studies Virtual Expo. Throughout this week, we will be hosting a variety of institutions who are highlighting their graduate programs for Seneca students and graduates. My name is Jennifer Kloosterman, and I am one of the Academic Pathways Advisors here in the Academic Pathways Department. Our team supports students and graduates who are looking to build on their Seneca credential. There are a variety of resources available, and you can connect with our team for more details. Today's session is with Trent University and specifically their School of Education. My colleague Caitlin is going to spend a little bit of time highlighting their Bachelor of Education program. So I will pass it over to you, Caitlin.
Alrighty, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who tunes into this. My name is Caitlin Meehan, and I am the Education Admissions Officer here at Trent University. So in my role, I'm primarily the first point of contact if anybody has questions about our education programs, about getting into our education programs, and about the pathway to becoming a teacher. In my role, I also am primarily responsible for assessing our applications to the BEd program, our Bachelor of Education program. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Today, I will be speaking about our Bachelor of Education program. Let me just change my slide here. But before we get started, I'd just like to acknowledge the land. So I'd like to acknowledge that Trent is on the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to the First Nations for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. So in the background of that picture and in the background of my own background, you can see that we have the lovely Otonabee River that flows through our campus. And I am just so grateful to work on such a campus that has such respect for the environment around us. I love being able to see how the school community, the wider community, and just nature is able to interact with this river. And I hope that lots of other people are able to experience it as well. So speaking of our Bachelor of Education program, it is a 2-year full-time program offered on campus at our Peterborough campus. It is the 2-year program that leads to certification with the Ontario College of Teachers. So if you would like to become a certified teacher in the public sector, you do need to earn your Bachelor of Education. It is one and the same as Teachers College. Officially, the degree is the Bachelor of Education. Through our Bachelor of Education, you can pursue the primary junior stream. So this is for anyone who would like to teach junior kindergarten all the way through grade 6. And then for anyone who would like to teach intermediate senior or grades 7 to 12, the secondary level, they would pursue the intermediate senior stream. There is also a junior intermediate stream. This is just not a stream that we offer within our BEd program. In terms of areas of focus, we focus on social justice, diversity, education, sustainability, and Indigenous ways of knowing. These are topics that aren't just trickled through, the curriculum areas. They really are the foundation of all the things we teach across all subject matters, and they really are at the core of the teaching practices of those in the Trent community. So that's great. So as I mentioned, there are 2 teaching division streams that we offer. Primary junior, or the elementary stream, is for anyone who would like to teach junior kindergarten through grade 6. To be eligible for the primary junior stream, there are no specific course requirements that you need to have at the undergraduate level. You could have a degree in any subject and be eligible for our primary junior program. While we say that there are no specific courses required, we do encourage applicants to primary junior to have some courses across disciplines. So you see there we have some subject areas listed. These subject areas mirror the primary junior curriculum. So we encourage students to have courses across these subject areas because as a primary junior teacher, the expectation is you teach across the curriculum, you teach across all subject areas. Having courses in these areas is beneficial for you professionally, for your professional development, and it just helps give you a foundation to teach these areas. But it's not a requirement for admission. So in theory, you could be a history major, get your degree in history, and have never taken a math or science, and you would still be eligible for primary junior. On the flip side, though, for intermediate seniors, so those who would like to teach grade 7 to grade 12, you are required to choose 2 teaching subjects, and there are requirements that must be met at the undergraduate level for these subjects. So for your 2 teaching subjects, you must have 5 full undergraduate credits in the first subject, and 3 full credits in your 3 full undergraduate credits in your second teaching subject. Unless your second teaching subject is French, then you need 4 credits. These are the specific requirements for Trent's teaching subjects. All BEd programs are just a little bit different, so I encourage you to double check that you are on track for all of the schools you would like to apply to. At Trent, there are 14 teaching subjects we offer in our intermediate senior program. These pretty well mirror the secondary teaching subjects. But it's important to note that not all undergraduate majors trickle into a teaching subject. So it's important to be planning towards these undergraduate credits or under these teaching subjects early in your undergraduate studies, if you can. So for example, psychology is a popular major. Unfortunately, psychology does not trickle into a intermediate senior teaching subject. So it's just important to be aware of what the requirements are for your teaching subjects before you apply. Otherwise, primary junior, there are no specific courses you need. There are no teaching subjects that need to be declared. You just need to have the undergraduate degree. A large component of the program is made up by practical experience. So this experience will work towards the requirements for Ontario College of Teachers certification. So in the program, you will have 115 days of professional experience. Most of this experience is made up of the classroom practicum experience. These are the placements where you are working in a classroom with a host teacher who is mentoring you. You are developing your skills alongside a active class. So this makes up 90 days of the program, and it's broken into 4 blocks. So at the end of each semester, you will do either a 4 or 5 week classroom practicum in a school classroom. 15 days of the practical experience will be made up by the alternative settings placement. So this is a placement where you will be in an educational setting, but it will not be a traditional classroom setting. So we want you to get out there and to try a educational setting so you can see that teaching and learning happens differently in different ways and different settings. So this placement is great because it's flexible. It allows you to pursue an area of interest within the field of education. You will fully set up this placement yourself, whereas the other placements, a part of the School of Ed, are set up by the School of Ed. For the alternative settings placement, you're welcome to do this throughout your 2 years of the degree, but most students do tend to do this in the summer between years 1 and 2. And then lastly, but ironically, this will be your first placement, is the 10 days or the equivalent of 10 days of tutoring in our Supporting Literacies and Learners with Special Needs program. So this placement starts within the first few weeks of actually starting the program. And for twice a week, you will spend either a morning or afternoon working with students, either in small groups or one-on-one, working with students who may need additional literacy support. So this is a requirement for all teacher candidates in the program because literacy is the foundation for all learning, and developing skills in supporting literacy will help all teacher candidates. This program is great because it also coincides with a class of the same name. So while you are learning skills in your class about supporting literacy learners, you can take what you're learning from class, directly apply it when you go to your placement, and vice versa. You can take your experiences and reflect on them in class at the same time. So this starts right around the beginning of the program. It's a great way to dip your toes into the classroom environment ahead of the larger blocks of practicum. And then we have two pictures there of different options for the alternative settings placement. So we've had someone go abroad, and then oftentimes we have students participate in our local community garden through Peterborough Green Up, which is great. Um, Elaborating a little more on this practical experience. So like I said, the alternative settings placement is the only placement that the teacher candidate will set up for themselves. The classroom practicums and the literacy support placement are arranged by the School of Ed's placement coordinator. And they would be arranged within one of our 6 partnering school boards. So when you are admitted to the program, you have the chance to provide information on where you will be living during your placement, and the placement coordinator will place you as close as possible to that home location as they can. But we do warn students that in theory you could be placed within any of our school boards, and you can expect some travel, and you would need to have reliable transportation. We can't guarantee that your placement school will be on transit. It may be in the country, that kind of thing. And this has kind of become a standard for all BEd programs. You can expect to drive a little bit to get to your placement. This is an overview of what to expect in your first year. This is our current calendar. So the white circles are when teacher candidates are in class here on campus. Each semester starts with 9 or 10 weeks of class here in person. And then after that, we have a professional events week. This is a week of workshops, professional development, where organizations will come and speak to, what they have to offer. We'll have members from the Ontario College of Teachers come and explain the process of being certified. We'll have members from the different teacher unions come, the Teachers Federation, possibly members from our community school boards, all come and speak to all of that, all to prepare you for your placements. So the dark green circles there are the practicum blocks. And each semester ends with either 4 or 5 weeks of placement. So you start off with 9 or 10 weeks of class, you have a foundation or a professional events week, and then you finish the semester off with 4 or 5 weeks of placement. Then you have quite a bit of holidays, and then you rinse and repeat for the second semester. And then you rinse and repeat all of that again for the second year. So that is the program. How do we get into the program? What is the application like? I will explain that. So for admissions into the program, we are looking for the completion of a undergraduate degree, or we are looking to see that you are on track to finish that degree within that current academic year. So in theory, you could be in your final year of your undergraduate degree and apply to the BEd to move into it for the following year. We're looking for a minimum 70% in your last 10 undergraduate credits or 20 semester-long courses. So these do have to be at the undergraduate level. We can't, unfortunately, use any college to university transfer credits. They must be undergraduate credits to determine this GPA. If the minimum GPA is met, then admission is based equally on your grades from the GPA and your profile of experience, which I will explain a little more about in a minute. So essentially, admission is based equally 50-50 on academics and experience. All applications to Ontario BEd programs, most of them, there's a few exceptions, need to be submitted through OEAC. So through OEAC, there is a specific platform for teacher education programs called TEAS, and all applications need to be submitted through there. Typically, December 1st is our deadline, but we haven't finalized those deadlines for next year. And if you are pursuing the intermediate senior stream, then you also need to make sure that you are earning enough credits in your teaching subjects. So as I mentioned, half of the admission score is made up by experience. This is demonstrated through the submission of a profile of experience. This is a form that becomes available on the Trent applicant portal once the initial OEAC-TEAS application has been submitted. But this is essentially all it will ask of you. So the first question it will ask is for you to identify your teaching stream in terms of whether or not you would like to do your placements in the public or Catholic school boards. This is purely for planning for placement. There is no right or wrong answer. You're welcome to choose whichever of those two. What is assessed is our point form experience list. So this is like a little mini resume. Um, for the experience list, we ask that you list 5 of your most relevant teaching related, or life experiences, and do a little resume blurb for each of those, explaining your role, where it was, how long you were there, and then bullet points explaining, your roles and responsibilities, the skills you've demonstrated, accomplishments, that kind of thing. And like I said, this could be teaching related, or life experiences. You just have to connect it and do your best to connect it to the field of education. Another point that is assessed is the critical reflection. So this is a 500-word written response where you will choose 3 of the 5 experiences you've already touched upon in the experience list, and you will explain why these 3 experiences are meaningful to you as a future teacher. So you're going to explain the impact they have as a prospective teacher, the value they've added, why they're meaningful to you, in 500 words. And then we do also ask for the contact information of 2 references. We will send them a reference questionnaire to be submitted online. There are some additional supplemental forms that may be submitted. If you are an intermediate senior applicant, then we do ask that you submit a form called the Teaching Subject Course List. This is a form on the applicant portal where you can list all of the courses you have completed or will be completed in your final year that would be eligible to support your teaching subject courses. So for example, again, if you're a history student and your teaching subject is history, then you would list a number of your history courses that could be used to support your history teaching subject. This is only required for intermediate senior applicants, though not for PJ applicants, because they don't choose teaching subjects. We also have an optional equity admission form that's available on My Trent as well. So we are committed to social justice, and we encourage applications from persons traditionally underrepresented in the teaching profession. So if this is applicable to you and you would like, you are welcome to submit this form for some additional consideration. These are the tentative deadlines. We're just coming out of our application cycle right now, so these haven't been finalized for next year. But traditionally, the BEd application opens on the TEAS website in mid-September, again, for all BEd programs in Ontario. Traditionally, it closes December 1st, but again, hasn't been finalized. And then about 1 week after that application closes, we require the submission of all supplemental documents. So we're looking for official transcripts. The profile of experience is a mandatory submission for the application, and then some of the other additional forms that might be required or are optional. So that is all I have to offer for you. There are some additional resources listed there. There's my contact information. So if you have any questions about becoming a teacher or applying to Trent or the pathways, please feel free to reach out by email or give me a call. The Ontario University's Application Centre, the TEAS platform within that, is a great resource as it lists all of the BEd programs in Ontario, and it goes over all of the admission requirements for each of those programs. And then we also have, at Trent, we have a BEd applicant handbook. I consider this the holy grail of applying to our BEd program, as it goes through all things applying. You have a timeline, you have specific instructions for all of the different forms. It currently isn't updated for the next cycle, but it will be in the coming months. So yeah, that's everything I have for you.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. That was a great presentation.
Thank you so much for having me.